Hang on. Hey, Facebook, happy Monday. What's going on, people? Hopefully you're having a good one. It's Thanksgiving week. It's time to eat. Chef Todd joining us today. He's in place of Pam. Pam's playing down at Walt Disney World. Todd says he has not eaten since yesterday being down at Epcot, and he will not eat till Thanksgiving.
No. Nice.
Not true. But he's eating. We're going to talk about that for Friday. So Thanksgiving week here in the States, getting ready. Can't wait. That's my favorite day. My birthday is the next week. So
that's probably because why you like Thanksgiving so much, because your birthday is right around it. So
because I get to pick the pies. I get the dessert. So we have the chocolate cream pies from Helfer's.
Oh, gotcha.
So good.
Pumpkin? No pumpkin, no apple?
I don't eat pumpkin. I don't eat apple. Nope. Just chocolate.
What's wrong with you?
On top. So good. Aloha, George. Yes. I can't wait. I love Thursday.
Todd, I think we need to judge him a little bit for not eating pumpkin or apple pie for Thanksgiving.
But he said chocolate, so I got to give him a pass.
Because that's what my grandma always made, was just chocolate pie.
Well, see, it's sentimental, so we'll give him that.
That's sentimental. Okay, all right.
The cheap one from Helfer's, it's actually really expensive, I think, but it's good. It's not made though.
I don't think have we ever had Helfer's pie before? No,
I think that's where it's from. It's Helfer's. It's somewhere in Florissant.
Well, yeah, Helfer's is in Florissant. Yeah,
they make pies,
and Helfer's would make pies. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's where we get it. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Now you got me confused because we get it there every year. I think
you're right. It's Helfer's. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for joining us today, guys. We're going to answer your listener questions. If you have questions, get those ready to roll in the speaking of pumpkin roll, Doug.
I know, but I was going to say.
And we have some queued up in the inbox. We're going to get rolling because Ricky's got family in town already.
I do.
They're ready to have
the rest comes in tomorrow.
As soon as it's done. So let's do this. So 14:10. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I haven't hit record. Okay.
So, I'm smart enough to
that would be a big thing.
Yeah, it would be. It's hard to do a podcast if you don't record it.
That's right.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Hey, Facebook.
What was that?
That was me.
I was going to say, I'm like, holy cow. I swear I'm not talking.
I was just trying to figure out how to put Facebook so I could look at the chat, so I had to put it on my phone.
Oh.
Not really.
You can look at the chat in here. I'll
figure it out.
Is there a way, Ricky, say how you do that real quick? Because I don't.
So on the screen where you see like right now it says 11 comments. You see the 2 reactions, and then you see 11 comments. If you click see all, it will show you the comments.
That way you don't get like you don't hear the audio.
Right. Those are the Facebook comments?
Those are the comments that come in. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Kevin's going to be in the world in a wee.
That's yeah.
That's cool.
That's sweet. Hey, Michelle and everybody down in Florida. Gosh, these people in Florida killing me. Actually, our first question is from somebody in Florida. All right, here we go.
Like Pam Forrester.
There's Donna from Ricky's. All right,
yes, downstairs.
We'll send a shout out to Elijah. Was it Elijah that Pam saw today?
Yes, Elijah. Yes.
Right. Okay, here we go. Okay. Welcome to episode 1410 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. This is our big over the river and through the woods edition of the podcast as we are here the day before Thanksgiving in the States. So if you're traveling, be safe, hands at 10 and 2. Take pictures out your window. If you're flying today, send those on Twitter because I love pictures from airplanes. Now that I love flying, it's the greatest thing ever. I can't wait to be back on a plane in January. I love this stuff.
What are you, and what have you done with Mike Rallman? That's what I would like to know.
You podcast long enough, and things change. I love it.
That's true.
I love flying. So anyway, we're going to have a great time answering your listener questions, and we have a special guest today. But first of all, we got to get to the
not special guest for today. Yeah, exactly.
Special. We have Ricky from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and The Mouse for Less. What's up, Ricky?
Sorry, guys, you're stuck with me. So
what?
I'm the one who's always here, but you're here most of the time. So we got to go.
I'm here the time. Yes. If I would, you could take breaks if you weren't so high maintenance about always being on every episode, Mike. I'm just saying. Pam and I could do this by ourselves, but no.
I'm bound and determined to set the record for the most consecutive Disney podcasts in the universe. That's my point.
Okay. Wow, that's a pretty big record you'd like to have there. So
Lou and I are going to go nose to nose someday. Well, I'm a lot taller, so it'd be like more like his nose to like my nipple or something. I don't know.
That's a visual I didn't need. Thank you for that. Yes.
Sorry if you're listening a day late and you're trying to eat your Thanksgiving dinner. I apologize. So we got to hustle because Ricky's got family in town, and
you're talking about that. Yeah,
not helping. So, What are you doing for Thanksgiving? 30 seconds. What's your plan?
So the family is all coming here to my house, and we are just having a nice Thanksgiving dinner here. So turkey, stuffing, pies, which we've discovered Mike does not like pumpkin or apple pie. So I have both. It's going to be a nice meal.
You know what I saw was a stuffing that's made out of White Castles. I saw that on Twitter the other day, and that sounds interesting. I would go for that. I know I would do it. All right, we're getting the next guest in. Pam is in Florida celebrating. She was on Symphony of the Seas down at Walt Disney World. So we got a pinch hitter here for the next two shows. Todd, Chef Todd. You can find him on Instagram. And what's your hashtag that you use, Todd? So if I can check that out early.
Well, my handle is Chef Todd 55.
There you go.
My hashtag is Chef Todd Eats Disney.
That's what it was. I'll make sure I got that right. So Todd, happy Thanksgiving. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. Just looking forward to Thanksgiving on Thursday or tomorrow, and the usual suspects.
So are you cooking like a ton of food for Thanksgiving or no? All right. That's good.
I'm responsible for shrimp cocktail and gravy. That's it.
Oh my gosh. What easy things for you to be responsible for.
I started my gravy yesterday, so I'm in good shape.
I can't wait. All right, let's answer the questions because I'm just drooling. This is going to be a tough one. I'm so ready for Thanksgiving. Anyway, we got Amy. She's down in Cape Coral, Florida. First question of the day says, BOGP crew. First, hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving. Second, I need your help thanking my husband while we're at Disney on November 29th and the 30th for a last-minute trip thanks to a brief meeting my husband has to go to in Orlando for the Special Olympics. It's my birthday as well, but he is the one I should celebrate. Here's why. We went to the 2018 Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend this year after having a disappointing experience last year, getting picked up at mile 10 at the half marathon right outside Hollywood Studios, our favorite part of the run. We trained hard this year. I lost 50 pounds and he lost 60. And with his hashtag freaking magical, Pam, motivation and encouragement, we made it this year. Mike, I'm a part of the BOGP Lizards group on Facebook thanks to you, and saw them taking pictures before the race, but was so nervous, hashtag fangirl of the Lizards, that I didn't stop to say hi, and I regret it. You know what? That'd have been 2 more people in the picture, Amy.
You guys should totally come over. They're so awesome. You don't have to fangirl over them. They will welcome you in. You are a part of the family. So nobody be scared to go say hi to the Lizards. Promise. They're not scary people. They're very friendly.
Yes. Seriously, don't be scared. Come on over the next race. Anyway, she says, because of him, we were able to showcase this awesome race on our own Run, Eat, Drink podcast in an upcoming recap episode. I want us to wear our medals and go to a great place for dinner to celebrate our accomplishment on Thursday night. We're willing to go anywhere at Disney, but what place might really help me celebrate him and all he has done for me to accomplish this big comeback? Even ones where we might be able to get an ADR this late. He loves steak and craft beer, which we only allow ourselves one day at one meal a week on our weight loss plan, so I want to make it count. Thanks for your awesome show. Sorry this is such a long explanation, but I need you to help celebrate this awesome man I have been married to for almost 20 years, who has always supported my running goals and anything I want to do in life. He's amazing. I hope we can get to meet you all one day so we can see the awesome crew behind my favorite podcast to listen to on long runs. Amy is down in Cape Coral. She's winning, by the way. Anybody that's in Florida is winning. So this is I love this because she's thinking about her husband. I mean, what a journey. Lost 50 and 60 pounds, both of them. That takes a lot of work, and they want to celebrate this. Now, here's the trick, November 29th. So we're less than 2 weeks out, and they want to try to get an ADR. They want to go somewhere awesome. Husband loves steak and craft beer. Todd, this is a great one for you. So we try to get this. I mean, ADRs are going to be tough because not only is that, it's kind of right after Thanksgiving, but what would you suggest?
Some good last minute ones, like Blue Zoo at the Dolphin is one you can pick up last minute because it doesn't stay real busy. Well, if there's not a convention in town, which there probably isn't this time of year, it's a good one you can always pick up last minute. Any lounge like Narcoossee's Lounge or even Blue Zoo's Lounge, you can get in last minute for a dinner. It's not quite a celebratory dinner if you're sitting at the bar, but if they can't find anything, you can still have a nice dinner and get in late. And then also, we talked about this before, but last minute reservations on Open Table are sometimes available that aren't available on the Disney site.
That's a great point. Table is good to have on your phone. Yeah, I would also say, and again, I'm hearing mixed reviews with this, is Big River Grill on the boardwalk. They got craft beers and they kind of have like a huge, it's more like a Paradiso 37 kind of menu, I think, or like an Applebee's. I don't think it's real extensive, but I mean, that'd be because you got to be creative when it's this late. Ricky, anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. The craft beer part is the hard part because Disney's not really great about craft beer, unfortunately. And this makes my husband sad because he loves, a good beer. So my suggestion is going to be, and I think it's somewhere that you could probably do with, last minute. You could probably find a reservation, although it is a signature meal, but I'm going to say Yachtsman because she's looking for steak. That is one of the best steaks I've ever had. So that's going to be my suggestion for that. I'm sure they have some fine beers there, but, the craft beer part is definitely the tough part of the whole thing. And I wish that there were better options for that, for Disney restaurants that had craft beer because the Big River Grill has a lot of beer options. I think their menu leaves a lot to be lacking. So I don't necessarily think I'd go there.
Hey, you know me. I like Texas Roadhouse. It's probably right up my alley.
I had Texas Roadhouse yesterday, so as you know, I like that. But I actually eat their steak, Mike. You just eat their chicken fingers. So.
Chicken for the win. Shaka to George out in Hawaii. He doesn't like pumpkin pie.
How about STK in Disney Springs? Maybe
that would be a good option.
I don't know anything about their beers necessarily, but tons of steaks. It might be a good last minute one. The place is huge.
Absolutely, I would say that would be a great last minute option.
And you know what? With their medals, they could take characters in flight. Take your medals.
And a lot of times, those restaurants at no, never mind. I was going to say they're going after Wine and Dine weekend, so never mind. I was going to say a lot of times during race weekends, the Disney Springs restaurants will have discounts for people who are who have the medals. But taking them back about a couple weeks later probably won't work for you. So.
You got up really, really sore, and it took you that long to get to the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so next question is from the chat. Kevin Hayes says, split stay dining plan for first half. And can I use the credits for the entire stay? Unfortunately, with the split stay, you got to use your dining credits by midnight of the checkout day of the first stay. Now you can, here's the hack for that. If you want to have a dining plan for both halves of a split stay, you can do a ticketless package for the second stay, which is just your room and the dining plan. You don't need the tickets. So what you do is you load your tickets onto the first stay. Say you're staying for 8 nights total, 4 at the first place, 4 at the second. You get 8-night tickets on the first day because those are good for, well, I'm trying to think now with the change. That might not be something we can do. There's an option though where you can make it last longer. You can add on this little add-on to the tickets now that would cover that, and then you can have your just dining plan and room on the second if you want to have the dining plan for the both halves of a split stay. That's the way to go there. And Katie in the chat says, what to pack? Headed to Walt Disney World in 24 days, and I don't know how to pack. We usually go to Walt Disney World in July and sweating our brains out. How to pack for December weather in Florida? Do we need jackets? Katie, yes. And I hate to say it, but pack everything. It's crazy. So, Ricky, you've been there many times in December.
I have.
It's way different than July. Layers is the key, but because of layers, you got to bring a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. I would 100% pack layers. Make sure you pack some sort of sweatshirt, jacket type combination. Make sure you pack, definitely look at the weather forecast to see kind of what it's going to be before you go, because it really can vary. I mean, I've been there when it's been cold and needed gloves and a scarf and a hat in December. I've been there, when it's been beautiful and 80 degrees. So it really does vary. I do know that even if it is 80 degrees during the daytime, at nighttime it will drop down. So, if it is going to be if the forecast is slated to be a little bit warmer, do make sure you have like a light jacket or a sweater to pack just, in your bag. I'm sure you'll be bringing a bag in with you to the parks. So make sure you have that. You can even, I usually wear jeans, even if on those like 80-degree days, just because it will kind of dip down. So, I usually do wear some sort of pants on those days, or leggings or something like that. So just wear those. And then, layers are going to be the absolute key. I mean, even when I was down there in October, there were days when it was kind of, I'm going to say it was kind of chilly for Florida. So that's kind of how I packed and how I dressed is the pants and then a short sleeve shirt, and then I had a long sleeve shirt and the sweater over it. So that's kind of what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, you don't really need big heavy coats. Don't pack those. Pack just layers and layers of like long sleeve tees, like you said, leggings. Like I wear my running tights under my jeans actually some nights when it gets cold around New Year's Eve, or when it's marathon weekend. Some nights it gets really chilly. It might get down into the low 40s, upper 30s before you get out of that park. And I hate being cold, so I will just wear layers. And the thing is, what you can do is if you bring it into the park and you're going to stay there all day, you can throw some stuff in a locker. And then as the sun sets, go back to the locker and, you can change pants. Because, I mean, I think the novelty of going to Walt Disney World for a lot of us in the wintertime is that you get to wear shorts in December, in January, which, you want to do that, but you also don't want to be cold. It's not like, I just hate where you got to say, well, I'm going to be comfortable in the afternoon, but I'm going to freeze at night, or I'm going to be hot during the afternoon. And, so just throw some stuff in a locker and I think you are in good shape. All right, next question from the inbox. Is that Mike and Pam from BOGP? Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. First of all, I want to say it was awesome meeting you, Mike and Pam, and Mallory on the 4th of July at Epcot. I remember this. We met them outside of France, actually. Yeah, no.
Awesome.
What better place to celebrate the 4th of July than Chefs de France? That's so American.
Yes.
Anyway, she says, my boyfriend and I had just moved to Orlando from New Jersey, and it was great running into our favorite podcasters. I was starstruck. Wish you were there too, Ricky. You weren't there.
Sorry, I was not there. That was my bad.
We're not stars. We're just suckers that were trying to get a good meal before the fireworks. And then
I had to work. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It didn't rain that night. Anyway, now that we're locals, we want to brave the madness that is New Year's Eve at Epcot. Any pro tips?
Yes.
What time should we plan to arrive at the park to avoid potential park closures? Anywhere in particular we should make an ADR for? I'm dreading the bathroom lines, but looking forward to everything else. Thanks so much for your help, Ashley. All right, so I've done New Year's Eve at Epcot probably 4 or 5 times. Love it. Greatest place to be on New Year's Eve, I think, in my opinion, in the world. I love it. So the thing about Epcot is it usually does not close for capacity. You're going to get in. It's going to be a nut house, but you're going to get in.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing is, here's my strategy. And I've learned this. I've kind of refined it over the past few years. I tend to sleep in on New Year's Eve, have a very relaxing morning, stay out of the parks. Don't go into any parks. This is just my opinion. Go play putt-putt, go just hang out at a pool. Think about going into the parks about 4 or 5. And when you go into the parks around 4 or 5, have an ADR somewhere in Epcot. So last year, I think we all had a huge meal at Tepanito, I think.
Yeah,
was that
was last year.
Okay, that was last year.
Yeah, that was the Wookiee hat. Yes, that was the Wookiee hat. Yeah.
I was trying to picture the pictures. Yeah, I had the Wookiee hat. Yeah. So last year. And the thing is, what happens is if you get an ADR, say around 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock maybe, you're staying out of the madness because you're sitting down at a nice restaurant, getting a good meal. You're full for the rest of the night. You can just snack. And it's just, it's the best because you're having a good meal. You're having a good time. You're out of the madness. You're out of the weather, if there's weather, and just having a good time. Then you come out about 7:30. Then you can go around to all the parties that are starting to happen in China or the UK or Japan, wherever you want to go. There's a party happening. It's awesome. Yes. And then you just stake out a spot for the fireworks, around 10:30 or so, and you're golden, and it's awesome. Bathrooms, I'm not going to give that anymore because I want to make sure that I can get to the bathroom if I happen to be down there this year for New Year's Eve. But I have said it on the past couple of weeks. So if you paid attention, you know where my favorite spot to go is, because that is the most challenging thing. You just got to think ahead on New Year's Eve. You don't want to go in without an ADR. You don't want to say, oh, I'm starving, I got to get something to eat, because by the time you're starving, you're still going to wait 30 minutes for even China's what's the
Nine Dragons? No, not Nine
Dragons. Yeah, I mean, no matter what, you're waiting forever to get something to eat. So you want to go with an ADR. So Todd, any tips you can say for New Year's Eve when it's just crowded at Epcot?
Yeah, I've never been during the holidays. I try to avoid it, but it's fun. It's just not something we do. But I like the idea of the ADR and give you some 2 hours away from the crowds for sure. But
madness. Yeah.
When you have that ADR, it's just golden. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you get away from the crowds and you have somewhere to sit.
Yes, that's big because you need a couple hours to just sit, and just be while you're at Epcot. Because trust me, it is. I will give a couple of tips because I do come from offsite, and so that they live in Orlando. So just know that if you're coming from offsite, it will be a very long line to get in into the parking lot. I mean, it's horrendous. I've waited an hour ish to get in, so just know it's going to be a very long wait to get in. As well, it will be a very long wait to get out, so make sure don't leave Epcot as soon as midnight hits and the park doesn't close. I think the park's actually open until 1 o'clock in the morning, so the park doesn't close after the fireworks. Like normally after an Epcot day, the park closes at 9. After the fireworks and everybody leaves. But the good thing about Epcot on New Year's Eve is that the park does stay open for a little bit of extra time. So stay at the park until closing time, maybe a little bit after, because you're going to want that time for the masses to exit. Now, it's still going to take you a long time to get out of the park, and out of the parking lot. So just know that there was one time that I thought I was going to have to sleep in my car and just, take a nap, wake up in the morning and leave at that point, or, 5 in the morning and leave, because I seriously thought I was never getting out of there. So you may want to bring a blanket and pillow. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do with your life. But that may be an option for you too, because I seriously thought I was never getting out of there.
So, you have a question.
Don't leave at midnight though. So,
does that affect the like Uber if you're coming in? Are you waiting in the same line?
Well, it was to get out. I mean, so yeah. I mean the exit. The exit itself was backed up, so yeah.
It took a while to get in that Uber too. I guess I have to wait in the same line.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get into the park, I would assume that Uber would take just as long. So, it's gonna be it's a nightmare to get in and out. I will warn you. Just know that.
The heck with Uber though would be to get dropped off or get picked up at an Epcot area resort, go out the International Gateway, walk to the Boardwalk Beach Club or Yacht Club, pick up the Uber there, and they're not going to have to the theme park traffic. That's
valid.
And even if you're
valid
local,
point.
you can do that because that way you can drink and not have to worry about it too.
That's true too. There will be surge pricing though because it's New Year's Eve, so and it's worth it. At that point.
It is that's totally worth it. I say because those people are working on a holiday. You know what? And plus, it takes this responsibility out of your hand, keeps everybody safe. I do
absolutely. Absolutely.
Eric has a great comment in the chat. He says bathrooms are like halftime at a football game, only all night.
Only all night. Yes.
I know. I get the football games. I never go to the bathroom during halftime. I'm like, but what? Okay, this is not going to be an important drive. I'm just going to hustle right now. Halfway through the second quarter, this is not crucial, and I'm going to get back because you got to be strategic. He says fast pass.
Be strategic. Yes, fast pass. Make sure you make your fast passes at the 30-day mark if you want to make sure you have some fast passes for that day.
Correct. Okay. In this next email says, in need of your expert advice. It's from Antoine, and it says, hello, BOGP crew. My wife, 11-year-old daughter, 4-year-old twins, and I'll be heading to the world August 3rd of 2019 for 7 nights. I was previously booked into a room at the Polynesian, but upon checking out the Disney site, I saw that a 1-bedroom villa at the Jumbo House at Animal Kingdom opened up with a Savannah view, and I grabbed it as I always wanted to stay there. My one concern is the amount of time and the effort it would take to travel to and from the Magic Kingdom and Epcot by bus. One of the main reasons I chose the Poly in the first place was for the ease of transportation to those 2 parks in particular, as they are our favorites. I don't want something as little as transportation to be a factor in not staying at a resort that I really want, but with 2 4-year-olds to manage, it does create an issue. Would it be worth using minivan service for those trips? Would Uber or any other kind of option, or should I just go back to the Polynesian, or am I just overthinking the commute via the bus? We don't want to rent a car, as the daily commute to schools and work every day makes us hate driving by the end of the week, and we just want to relax and let someone else drive for a change. Your advice would be greatly appreciated. P.S. We have never stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, as I said, and have never eaten at any of the restaurants there. Would the food at these eateries be appealing to preschoolers? Thank you so much for your help and entertainment you provide us on a weekly basis. You guys are the best. Antoine is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All right. So here's what I say to this one, and I'll get you guys' opinion, but I'm just going to give it real quick. I would try the bus initially. It's not as bad as people think Animal Kingdom Lodge, because I thought this about Coronado back in the day too. I thought that it was, somewhere just east of Tampa. the way people kind of exaggerate the bus ride times to the parks. It's not. And the lodge is awesome to stay at. You need to try it. If you've never been there and wanted to, definitely stay at the lodge. But I would try the bus initially. And if you're not satisfied with the bus service, go to a minivan. But don't do that until you give the bus a shot first, because it's already included in the price of your vacation. But if you want to take that splurge and kind of have a little bit more control and a little bit more of a personalized feel to your vacation and your transportation options, then try a minivan and then go from there. But I would go bus, then minivan. You might not even need the minivans because you know what? I'll be honest. 4-year-old kids love the buses a lot of times. Now, maybe not at night at the park closing, but they tend to like riding the buses. They don't have to be in a car seat. They get to meet other people on the bus. Sometimes there's cool music playing. The bus drivers are fun sometimes. So that's what I would do. Ricky, thoughts on, because he's trying to decide between the Polynesian. I mean, he's right. I mean, if you're at the Polynesian, you got the monorail, you're at the Magic Kingdom. Yeah. But I mean, you want to have different experiences too.
Absolutely. And you want to take the bus to the Magic Kingdom, I mean, hands down, because if you drove or take the minivan or whatever, well, the minivan would take you straight to the front of the park. But if you took an Uber or, anything like that, you would be dropped off at the TTC. So, you want to make sure. I would absolutely take the bus to the Magic Kingdom. And, bus transportation gets a lot of flack, but they do have the signs up now, and they have the information on the app too. So you can kind of look at, when the bus is coming ahead of time while you're in your room or something like that. So you can keep an eye on that. So it's like that's made things a little more handy, I feel like, especially for a park, a resort like Animal Kingdom Lodge, to keep an eye on things. So I would absolutely suggest that you would want to do that. But it's not so bad. I mean, really staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge is going to be just fine. And plus you've got animals, which are fantastic to watch, and you've got a savannah view room. So I think that's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, Todd, let me ask you this. Now, your daughter is very adventurous. I got to say that off the top. My kids are the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, both of them. One in college, one getting ready to be a graduate of college, the other one's still in elementary school. But what do you say to preschoolers in general when it comes to dining at Animal Kingdom Lodge with Boma, Jico, Mara, things like that?
I would never worry about the age or the adventurousness of a kid. It's Disney, and they're gonna accommodate any person. I would pick my restaurant based on the adults and let the kids get what they want. There's always something there. There's 4-year-olds all over the park, all over the world, and they do it all day, every day. So I would never not go somewhere just because I have young kids.
Amen. Preach on, Todd. I love it. That's perfect. All right. Next question says, needing help for 12/9. So for December 9th. Hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. Both me and my husband booked a last-minute adults-only weekend trip to the world, 12/7 through 12/10. We're staying 3 nights at the Dolphin on points, and we definitely will definitely be exploring the boardwalk area on our arrival night. Saturday will be spent shopping at Disney Springs and the outlet. Then we have the Disney After Hours at Hollywood Studios tickets in the evening. Sunday, we are deciding between spending the day at Epcot or going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. We did the party 4 years ago and loved it, but this will also probably be the last time I will see Illuminations. We will travel home Monday afternoon. What would you guys choose and why? Thanks so much for keeping me company as I drive around for work. Alyssa's up in Connecticut. 10-2, Alyssa, 10-2. And hopefully you're not working today. Hopefully you have the day off, or maybe tomorrow. All right, so this is a tough call, man. Maybe the last chance to see Illuminations, Epcot, or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on December 9th. So, Todd, you literally just returned from Epcot Festival of the Holidays, which we're going to talk about on Friday.
Right.
What would you do in this situation? What if you were Alyssa?
I would say if she wants to see Illuminations for the last time, definitely go to Epcot. There's plenty to do food-wise. The Festival of the Holidays was awesome. There's 25 or 30 great things she could have. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party will be there next year. I would go Epcot. That's my choice.
All right, Ricky, what do you say?
I actually agree with Chef Todd. I think that Epcot is fantastic at Christmas time. You do have Illuminations. You do have the holiday tag with Illuminations too, which is so fantastic. And if you haven't seen that, it's absolutely worth it. You have all, like you said, the food booths for the Festival of the Holidays. You've got the holiday storytellers around. You've got Candlelight Processional that you can either try to see from seats, or you can try to hear at least from the back. I think that they are going to very much enjoy seeing Epcot and the holidays, and kind of like Chef Todd said, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is going to be there, as well as, you really get Christmas at the entire park at Epcot. Whereas I've said it before, when I talked about Disney's Hollywood Studios with the holidays and everything and how encompassing it is. Epcot is the same way in a way. It's super encompassing, especially around World Showcase. And I feel like at the Magic Kingdom, again, you really only get Christmas at Main Street and then maybe a little bit in Liberty Square. So I would definitely consider doing Epcot. I think you're going to love it.
I'm Epcot as well. So we got 3 for 3 because, you want to see Illuminations the last time. You don't want to regret it when something goes away forever. Speaking of Epcot, let me just ask you guys. So we had all the Destination D announcements.
Yes.
We're not really going to get into today. We're going to wait till Pam gets back, talk about that next week because there's so much to devour. And give us time to kind of think about things because my head's still spinning. I mean, because with Illuminations, we didn't even have just one announcement about the future of Illuminations. We had 2, which kind of confused me. So we have Epcot Forever, kind of be a temporary bridge to the next long-term show, which is going to feature more of the Disney movies, and it kind of looks like a World of Color thing to me. I don't know, adjacent to World of Color kind of experience because of the movie soundtracks are going to be incorporated in the new show. I'm way more excited for Epcot Forever because it's described as a retro celebration for Epcot. Todd, what did you think when you heard these kind of things with what's coming next for World Showcase Lagoon Nighttime Spectaculars?
No, I think it'll be fun. I agree. I think the short-term one might be more fun than the final solution. I'm looking forward to it. When is Illuminations over? When's the last day?
Ricky, do you know?
We don't know yet. That's the thing. I think I don't think that they've made the announcement officially. It's going to be, I think, probably right around that Labor Day time period. Because I think that they've said that so I guess I would say through Labor Day. But yeah, we don't actually know when. And then the Epcot Forever show is going to be an interim show in between the 2 shows. So everybody was saying, oh, the new Epcot show is going to debut immediately after. And I'm like, that's not what the information before had said. So everybody read into it wrong. And I was like, I don't think that's right. That I didn't immediately go with that too when I wrote all my news articles. Plug for me. But anyway, I'm just saying the Epcot, the new show, which we don't have a name for, will debut in 2020. So it's going to be the Epcot Forever show will be around for a little bit. But it's, from my understanding, it's, not going to be this huge spectacular. It's probably just going to be a lot of them from Illuminations and maybe some of the special shows that have taken place, to celebrate Epcot's 35th or things like that, which those are fantastic fireworks shows as well. So, I think that what they're doing is I think they're probably maybe draining the lagoon or something around this time period and will rely heavily on fireworks at this point. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that kind of seems like what it will be. So that's kind of what I've read through what that Epcot Forever show is going to be until they get
crazy to see an empty lagoon.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if it'll be empty, but it sounds like that would, in order to get ready for the new show and what it looks like it's going to entail, they'll probably need to do some work to the lagoon. So that if it's not empty, it will definitely be probably drained a little bit lower so that, and again, that part is just me guessing, but I have a feeling that they're probably going to have to do some work to the lagoon to get it ready for the new show.
Could be a lot of trim.
Yeah, I have a story, which is kind of an inside baseball here, but I got to share it because it's a great story. So apparently on Jim Hill and Len's podcast, months back, they were talking about, all this change happening at World Showcase and so forth. And they were talking about the lagoon and how when they make, I guess Jim said, when they make this change, you're going to have to drain the lagoon, to make these changes to all the spigots and stuff that are out there for the fountains and the pyrotechnics, which I guess they probably have. I guess they have infrastructure under the water that sticks out for the fire. I think they use the barges, but I don't know. Anyway, they're talking about that. And apparently Len didn't know there's fish in that lagoon. Okay. That was kind of the conversation. Yeah. Len didn't realize there were fish. Okay. So Mark, our, good friend Mark Yerkes, who is a huge fisherman when he goes to Walt Disney World, always fishes a few times on his trips. We got to go fishing with him last summer. We went out we actually fished World Showcase Lagoon. It was myself and Paige, Hannah, Steve, Mark. I mean, there's a bunch of us. We're out there in a pontoon boat fishing around World Showcase. And no kidding, Mark's a great fisher. He knows what he's, I don't know what to do. I don't fish. Paige, I don't think he fished a couple times with her dad. before. So, we're out there fishing. Well, she pulls out this monster fish, like by Germany. I mean, it is huge. I mean, the thing must have been a foot long, and I am not kidding. I'll have to post the picture on Facebook this week. But anyway, so Mark sends this picture to Len and says they're absolutely fishing World Showcase Lagoon. This is Mike's stepdaughter with the fish she caught when we fished World Showcase Lagoon last summer. So Len is like, no way. So he's like, this is so Len. He's like, so next time you guys are down there and Paige is there, let me know. I'll pay for your fishing excursion, but I want Paige to wear a touring plan shirt when she's out on that boat and bring out another big one so that I can get the picture. I'm like, that's so Len. That is so funny because this thing was a gigantic fish. Like, I think it was a bass. I don't know. I'll post the picture. But yeah, that's so Len. He's like, oh my gosh, we are totally. He's asking if she's under contract with like Bass Pro or something like that. Like she's under contract with this dude to hopefully graduate this year. But yeah. So funny. I love Len. He just cracks me up. Anyway, let's get to the next one. It's cracking up on that one. So next question is from David. Polynesian or yacht club for a surprise? Hey, BOGP gang. We are splurging a bit on the last 3 nights of our upcoming trip and are deciding between reservations we have for the Polynesian and the yacht club. And it'll be a surprise for my wife and 2 daughters who are 13 and 17. So I have to make the decision alone. We've never stayed on the monorail and never in an Epcot area resort, so I'm excited about either option in that regard. For both, I love the idea of walking to and from the studios in Epcot, as well as an easy monorail boat access to the Magic Kingdom. Epcot and Magic Kingdom are our last 2 full days during this part of our trip. We would have already done Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and part days at Epcot Magic Kingdom while staying at French Quarter for the first part of our week. Polynesian is a bit more money, but is there more of a wow factor staying there? We have a standard room at the Polynesian and a water view at the Yacht Club. On check-in day, when I will surprise the family, we already have a part day evening at Hollywood Studios and would be super easy to find a reason to walk to the resort area to check out Christmas decorations and then actually check in. The advantage for that, Yacht Club. Our next full day is at Epcot with extra magic hours until 11:30 p.m. Fairly easy regardless of either resort. Advantage, he says, question mark. I say Yacht Club there. Our final day is a full day at Magic Kingdom with extra magic hours until midnight. Easier late night travel back to the Polynesian would mean crowded bus or minivan lift to Yacht Club. Advantage, Polynesian. I know opinions can vary, but I was also looking for some input from people who have done either, even something I would not have thought of. Thanks. Dave's up in Pennsylvania. So long story short on this one, all things considered for your touring plan, for the wow factor, I know this is going to sound strange, Yacht Club. I like Yacht Club, especially with the water view room, because you're going to be looking right out over the boardwalk. I had that view this summer, loved it. They've just updated the rooms there. It's awesome. You're going to save a little bit of money. I'm going Yacht Club. So Todd, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah, pretty easy call for me too. I love Yacht Club, Beach Club. That's my second home. The thing about Poly and leaving that park that night, it might be a little crowded monorail, crowded bus to get there. Boats, I think it'll all be a nightmare. I think he could sneak out to the Contemporary and maybe take a car and get home easier to the Epcot. And the other 2 nights are obvious. He's got Hollywood Studios and Epcot. I think it's Yacht Club all the way.
Yeah, Ricky, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, as great as the Polynesian is, I think that the Yacht Club is probably the better option, all things considered.
Yep. And you're not going to regret it. I mean, the Polynesian is awesome. Don't get me wrong. Wow factor's totally there. I mean, I think Yacht Club is just, it's really, the new rooms are great and the location can't be beat. It's awesome. You'll love it. All righty. So last question of the day. It says, meeting Jack and Sally with little kids. It's from Chris, who's in Springfield, Pennsylvania. And he says, hey, BOGP crew, I've been listening to the podcast for almost 2 years now. Last September, my wife and I took our first trip to the world with our 5-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son. We survived Hurricane Irma and had such a great time. We're returning for 10 nights in late November, early December. We have tickets for the Christmas party, and meeting Jack and Sally are a must-do. I've heard the wait times for these exclusive characters can get quite long, which makes it challenging for little kids. Is it acceptable for one parent to wait in line while the other takes the kids off to enjoy other attractions? Would you recommend getting in line before the party begins or waiting until later in the night? Thanks so much for your advice and brightening my day 3 times a week. Chris is only 250 miles from Pam. He says, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Big win from the Steelers this past Sunday, boy. Just killed the Jacksonville Jaguars on the last play. Anyway, no football. Let's talk Disney. So Ricky, what is the etiquette with, I think with little kids, that's acceptable. I think it's not really cool with adults, swapping in and out. I mean, kids are going to, if they're not there, they're going to be just bugging everybody around them. That's how I look at it. It's kind of a better thing for everybody, in my opinion.
True. The other thing is that I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, they changed the meet and greet. It's actually at Town Square now. So I'm not sure if it's in the, one of the rooms or if it's off to the side. But I think I saw that they changed it. So I'm not sure how the wait times have been since they changed the setup for it. So it's really hard for me to be able to say 100% of how fast the wait times have been moving. So I think if you've got little kids, I would absolutely say it's okay to kind of take them away for a little bit and then bring them back. I'm sure that people will understand, but hopefully since I think they made the change, the wait times won't be as bad. But just kind of keep your eye on things.
And I would too say if it's a priority, get it done, get in line as soon as you can, knock that out, and then it's gravy the rest of the night, because you don't want to try to go back later and say, oh, it's a 120-minute wait, because then there's your party.
And then you're really upset. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's sneak in one more quick question. Let me find one here.
Okay.
That's a too long one. If you keep them short, they get on here quicker. Okay. Let's see here. Nope, we already answered that one. Let's see. I knew if I picked one last question at the last minute, this would happen to me. Nope, that one's too long. That's a book. Let's see here. Okay, we'll do that. No, let's see. That one's too long.
Nope.
Okay, so last question today, Derek has it. Hey, Mike, Pam, and Ricky, it's spring 2020 group of 10. I've been listening and loving the podcast for years and have an upcoming trip in March of 2020 that is now above my skill level, and I know I need to consult the experts. We'll be going down for 7 days and staying on property with our 2 kids. We'll be joined for part of the trip by brother's family and our parents. They're staying off-site. There'll be 4 kids total, age 14, 8, and 2 at the time. My biggest concern revolves around dining. Normally, we do the dining plan, but know that we functionally can't sit my family of 4. Know that we functionally can't since my family of 4 are the only ones staying on site, and we won't do all the meals as a party of 10. How far in advance can I book these reservations, and is there anything I need to consider to increase the chances of us getting all seated together? Secondly, is there any unique experiences, dining or otherwise, that are unique you can recommend? My extended family doesn't go down as much as my immediate family, so we want to plan unique experiences for them and things that are different for us. I'm kind of leaving this open-ended on purpose since you all are so creative and always have great ideas. Thanks so much for everything you do for all of us Disney fans. Derek is in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. It's like the Pennsylvania show.
Good.
So, okay, jumping into this, here's the thing. You can still do the dining plan, Derek, because it doesn't really matter as far as how you're paying the bill. They're just going to deduct the credits instead of using your credit card or paying cash. That won't affect anything. So if you normally do the dining plan, you can absolutely still do that. You're right. People staying offsite can't, but it's really only how you're paying for your meals. Now, when you have a party of 10, you got to get a little creative, party of 10. You can still get ADRs through the system, at mydisneyexperience.com or on the app or, what have you. 410, that can happen, but you can get creative and maybe do a 6 or a 4. And when you arrive at the restaurant, just talk to the host or hostess and ask if you can sit together. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Todd, what are your thoughts on that? Trying to get a larger group? I know you usually don't have a large group, but I mean, what would you say best advice for a group of 10 trying to sit together at dinner?
Well, I think the split reservation is a good idea and do the best you can when you get there. But a place like maybe Beer Garden has some large tables and it's a huge hall. I think that'd be a great place to start. The entertainment's fun. It's a buffet. It's easy. Pretty good food. Pretty basic food. I would probably start at a place like that. Some place that can hold a large group. You're always sitting. Even if you're a twosome, you're sitting with 8 other people anyway. So there's going to be 10 tops. So I would start there possibly.
That's true. And you got places like maybe like a Trails Inn. They have big, I say that because it's perfect for large groups. We always have trouble, but when we have large groups, we'll have like groups of 60. So I can see that causing trouble. But yeah, I mean, they have a lot of like long tables. It's a buffet, so it's easier. So Ricky, real quick, as we're closing out here, they're looking for unique experiences too. They go more often. The extended family doesn't. What would you suggest for this kind of multi-generational group trying to have something that's very special to make this trip unique?
I think that one of the big things, I always love with the multi-generational family, something like 50s primetime. I think it's a fun experience for the whole family. Everybody can get in on the fun of, being picked on. I use that term in quotes, because they're not really, the cast isn't really picking on you, but they kind of pick a little bit. So they make you eat your vegetables and stuff like that. But that's kind of fun to watch. Mom or dad have to be forced to eat vegetables that they're not wanting to eat. That kind of thing. So I think that that's a good option. I think Tepanito may be a fun option as well, because you've got the whole, again, the tables are kind of communal. So you can sit, I think, 10 or so at a table, and you can all kind of do the hibachi style thing there while you're watching. So I think that that's kind of fun. Trying to think of some other kind of unique places. You've got things like Hoop-de-Doo Review as well, which is the dinner show. I think that could be an interesting option for the family too.
Yep, and Terry's got a great one. Viet Napoli has that real long table.
Oh, yes.
We've sat there many times after races. That exactly.
Yes.
That's a good one for. It's actually, that thing probably holds about 25 or 30 people.
Huge table.
It's gigantic.
Each side, I think. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, that sucker's long. So.
Like Brian's idea of Hoop-de-Doo, I think it'd be fun. They wouldn't be able to sit together probably, but it'd be so much fun it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, that's true.
Good food, good entertainment, totally Disney. And shout out to Caroline. Be good for your mom. Be good. We're just talking to you as we do the podcast. All right, and also shout out to Elijah, who ran into Pam down at Walt Disney World today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for the picture. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's show, again, brought to you by our friends at virtualmickey.com, home of great apps like Theme Park News Disney Edition, a free iOS app. Ricky, you have 30 seconds to recap.
Oh my gosh.
No, just kidding. There's quite a bit.
No! Okay. There was so much news.
Disney Edition. Go ahead.
So here's one of the things that I think was missed by a lot of people. It was kind of, in a way, it was kind of like swept under the rug. It was like, hey, we're doing this. That was it. So we're actually getting a new version of O Canada in the Canada Pavilion at Epcot. So that's kind of awesome. The last version, it's a Circle Vision 360 show, and the last time it was updated was in 2007, after Martin Short had some very sketchy plastic surgery done on his face. So it'll be interesting to see.
He was just a little tight in that film. He was kind of like
it's a little tight, yes. It'll be interesting to see who they have kind of host it. I do like Martin Short as the host, so I don't know if they'll have him do it, or they'll bring in another comedian, or they'll just do kind of a general a showcase of Canada. But I'm very curious to see what they do with the updated O Canada film, because lately Brian and I had been going to see the film since we were going to Canada, literally ever since we booked the cruise. Every time we went to Disney after that, we went to see O Canada, and he's made me go back ever since. So I'm anxious to see the new version of the show.
Nice. Well, so you can get all this great.
But they have to keep the song. I hope they keep the song, because I love that song.
I know. They need to keep it in there somehow, because I do love that song. But who knows? I hate to say it, but who knows? You better get a copy. The music lives forever anymore, so that's good. Somebody saying Ryan Reynolds for the new host. I don't know who that is.
Ooh, I would be okay with that, actually.
I said that the other day.
That is not a bad choice. I'm okay. He's funny. He's good looking. I'm okay with this choice.
Rondely
I could stare at him for a while.
Anyway, so you get all this great news and all this gossip, apparently, too, like People Magazine. On Turn your Apple.
We're starting rumors.
Yeah, right now.
Hashtag Ryan Reynolds for all Canada.
All right, don't forget Black Friday is this coming Friday. Please, when you click through and you use Amazon, please click through our Amazon affiliate link. It really does help support the show very, very much. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Bookmark it right now on all your devices. You get the same Prime benefits. You get all of the same deals, but it does support the show. So again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Thank you so very much for using that this weekend and this holiday season.
Also, if you are looking for shirts, they go on sale on Black Friday. So if you want a Be Our Guest podcast shirt, like a hashtag freaking magical shirt or a regular Be Our Guest shirt, you can do that over at the TeePublic store too. So that'll go on sale.
Do you have a link for that?
I will share it in the Facebook page.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right. And give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. And of course, we've got a great Facebook page, facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. And check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, it's time to cut you loose and let you get ready for Thanksgiving here in the States. It's time to put that bird in the oven and get ready. Boy, I love it. I can't wait for tomorrow. So wherever you are, we are so very thankful that you take the time to listen to our show all around the world. We couldn't do this without you, and it's so much fun for us to just talk to you guys and get to share our love of Disney and hear about your trips and what you're getting ready to do. This is just awesome. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me live my dream. I love this. So we're going to be back again on Friday talking about Epcot's Festival of the Holidays. Todd took one for the team and ate just about everything in the vicinity of Epcot so he can share the best of the festival with you. So we're going to be ready for that on Friday. But get ready. I know you'll be full anyway, so it's a good show.
I know.
Leftover day. So, all right. So
he's still full. Yeah.
We're going to get out of here. So we'll see you again on Friday. So for Ricky and Todd, I'm Mike, wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving. You don't have to go back to work today, maybe. Just relax, get ready to eat. And we'll see you real soon. Okay. Let me save that one. Is that your cat? I see something.
No. I think that was.
You can say hi. Jada wants to say hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello.
She's.
I see the shadow.
And my line is.
Hi, honey.
She's waving to the camera.
You've been quietly upstairs on her iPod.
That's what my kid.
Same thing.
Yep.
Do I have 1 minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom wants to sneak in too and say hi.
I'm back.
She's back. Ah! Oh, she's falling on my.
Wait a minute.
You got to talk to
She's
Caroline.
losing all my stuff.
There we go.
Caroline, we're
She's losing all-
hang on.
What?
Caroline, we're talking directly to you right now.
Yeah, Caroline, we're talking to you.
She
That's
loves
right.
Disney. What's your favorite thing, Caroline? What's your favorite ride?
Okay.
Ricky, let me zoom in on Ricky. Zoop. Ricky.
Yes. Yeah. Mom says hi. She's happy to be here.
I'm
I'm
hungry.
carrying
A Taco Bell.
You want Taco Bell? I'm sorry. Do you have headphones in? Oh, you have headphones in.
I'm
Oh,
listening
okay.
To the podcast.
Got it. She's listening on her
Oh,
headphones.
it's probably
So.
delayed, though.
Yeah, she says it's delayed. Yes. Hey, look who came up to say hi. It's your favorite, Mike.
See here.
Get out of here.
See, she's got a son. They're saying hi.
Oh, Caroline's favorite ride is Slinky Dog. Poor Betsy.
Ah, Slinky Dog is fun.
It is. Making her mom work for that fast pass for standing in line forever.
That's right.
So my kid, that's a high maintenance favorite ride. Why couldn't it be something like the TTA? It's super easy. You
Right.
don't even have to get a fast pass. That's so my kid. High maintenance all the way. All right. So Todd, the way I'm looking at this, because you snack so much, we'll kind of do a quick overview of the festival and then just kind of like some of your not to miss things.
Yeah, I've got however you want to handle it. I got there's only 11 kitchens, so
Yeah.
Okay.
wherever you want to start.
That Italy stuff
Cool.
was cute, dude. That was up my alley.
Out of Italy, finally. 6 festivals later, they got to figure it out.
Oh, it looks so good.
Let's hope they get it for the rest of them.
Gosh, I hope so. That was good. They did a great job. But anyway, however you want to handle it, just I've got a little blurb on every kitchen, or I've got my top handful. We can talk about I didn't do the cookie trail, but if you want to mention it, Chip and Dale thing. So whatever.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
let's do it. Here we go. Ricky, your internet cut out just a couple times during that show, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I figured out the problem. We're fine. I fixed
Okay.
it.
All right, here we go. This is 1411. Welcome to episode 1411 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving with your friends and family. Today's actually the best day of the year. Boy, you get all the leftovers. I'm heading out to Mizzou for Senior Day to see our football team go 8-4. We're going to take care of the Razorbacks, and that hopefully will secure us a bid to a bowl game in Florida. It was looking like we'd end up in either Memphis or Nashville, which nothing's wrong with either one of those cities, but I'd much rather go to Tampa or Jacksonville. So go Tigers, and hopefully you're having a great Black Friday. So let's get to today's show. We're going to be talking food. Today's a great day to talk food because I'm sure you have plenty of leftovers. You don't have to listen hungry. Chef Todd's here to talk about Epcot's Festival of the Holidays. I can't wait for that. But also joining us today, we have Ricky from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and The Mouse for Less. Happy late Thanksgiving, Ricky. What's going on?
I'm so full.
I know.
It's just I'm rolling. I rolled over here so I could podcast, and now I'm gonna go roll back to my couch. ingredients.
So do you
really.
do what I do? I make the Earl of Sandwich holiday sandwich like 10 times over with all the leftovers. Let's throw all the stuff on like some wheat bread and boom, I'm good.
So turkey's not my favorite thing in the entire world, so I don't like to have turkey as leftovers. I keep all the sides. The sides I'm good with, but the turkey part is like, I can take it or leave it. So sometimes I'll use turkey. If I have like a lot of turkey left over, I'll use it in some sort of casserole or something after. But for the most part, I just kind of throw it away. I know I'm a terrible person, so I'm a terrible human being and don't like to keep the turkey.
Oh, something's wrong with you. I love my turkey.
I know. I just really don't like turkey that much. I will eat it at Thanksgiving and that's it. Like I really don't eat turkey any other time of the year.
I eat it
Just
all.
Thanksgiving. Nope.
All right. Also joining us today, we have Chef Todd. Chef Todd, how is it going today? Happy Friday. Happy Black Friday.
Thanks. Glad to be here. I'm a little full myself. I'd have to agree with Ricky. Turkey's not my favorite part of Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Leftovers.
See,
I like
there you go.
Stuffing,
The
gravy,
sides are where it's at.
stuffing, gravy,
Yeah.
green bean casserole, all in one bowl. That's my
Oh,
favorite.
there you go.
so
It's
you
an
make
interesting combination.
Yeah,
kind
not throw it all in one bowl and heat it up. That's it.
So you make kind of almost like one of those KFC famous bowls.
Oh, good.
I'm all about
I
the
want to
bowl.
throw.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so good. They used to serve
Nope.
those in school. They weren't as good as KFC. They were kind of gross, but they served those to the kids. Anyway, so today, speaking of food, we're not talking leftovers, but have a sandwich handy so you're not starving. If you're heading down to a Walt Disney World this holiday season, which now, hey, it is the holiday season, Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's officially holidays.
here we are.
Nobody can complain now. You know what? So we are going to talk the festival of the holidays at Epcot, which, we've joked over the past 5-6 years how Epcot is now they've said this on Webway and, it's all over the internet that Epcot is actually the festival park, which it is. And they've snuck another one in. It's kind of like a light. So let's see if I can get in my head. I was thinking about this today. So you got the Food and Wine Festival, then you got the Flower and Garden Festival, which is kind of like a light version in a way of Food and Wine.
Yes.
And so as I'm thinking about this Festival of Holidays might be a light version of Flower and Garden, maybe, because there's not as many kitchens, but there's a lot to do and a lot to eat. More importantly, Chef Todd's the expert just back from Walt Disney World to share his thoughts on this. So Todd, in general, first of all, how was the festival at Epcot? How were the crowds? Overall, besides the food, what was the festival like?
Festival was fun. We were only there for the day. The crowds were huge, and I think a couple reasons why. It opened on the 18th, which is a Sunday, which was odd, but that was technically Thanksgiving week. So I think people came in on Saturday or Friday, and they were already there. So I think that maybe made the crowds a little bigger, inadvertently. It was also Dapper Day there, so there was a lot of people there, which was fun.
Yeah.
But so the crowds were huge. The lines they were long, but I think they moved pretty quickly. There's only 11 kitchens for this festival. So the crowds were big, but the kitchens did a good job handling it.
All right, so let's walk through the kitchens, and you hit everything. So first of all, where can people check out your Instagram? Because you have just pictures of all the food that we're going to be talking about today on Instagram, so people can kind of follow along. If they're not driving, hopefully they're just sitting there listening to the show in the recliner. That's
Laying on the recliner, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Instagram is Chef Todd 55. I did about 25 reviews of all the savory items. I didn't have time to get to any desserts. I'm going down in December again. Hopefully I'll get some of them then, but I had to draw the line somewhere. I had 4 hours to eat everything, so I just couldn't.
Wait till
You can't fit in all of it? Come on. Where's your iron stomach?
People want more, so I had to draw the line.
Wait till you see these pictures, guys. I mean, go to his Instagram, check it out. 4 hours. That's ridiculous. I mean, this is like 4 weeks worth of stuff. So anyway, you really did. You kind of you took great pictures. You gave quick thoughts on these. So 11 kitchens. So what's the strategy for somebody going down now that you know what you know about this year's festival?
Well, the strategy changes for this festival because the kitchens open at noon instead of 11. So all of World Showcase is open for an hour before the kitchens actually open. So that gives the crowd a chance to populate the entire area. So there's no real strategy as far as like for the other festivals. The World Showcase isn't open. So once it opens at 11, sneak back to the back, go to the American Adventure. There's 4, 5, or 6 kitchens that are wide open, and you can get a lot done before everybody gets there. In this case, they're already there. So it's just wherever you're at, start there. They opened a few minutes early on Sunday, but pretty much right at noon. So we came in the International Gateway and started right at France, made our way counterclockwise, and ended up in Canada.
All right, so I don't know if we're gonna have time to go over all 11 kitchens.
Sure.
So let's do it this way. let's kind of get a couple in each category. And then this could be kind of hard because I don't know if you have them sorted this way, but just kind of off the top of your head.
Okay.
Let's go with surprises. Which ones were the biggest surprise as far as the kitchens, maybe good and bad, as
Sure.
far as I'm expecting?
Well, if you follow me at all, you know that I've been down on Italy the last 5 or 6 festivals. They, for whatever reason, they can't seem to get their stuff together when it comes to these. But they did a great job this year. They had a cavatappi, which is a curly pasta with some cheese sauce and a little truffle breadcrumbs. That was delicious. They had a fried mozzarella sandwich. That's how can that?
Oh,
So it was
hello.
little mini mozzarella sandwiches on a nice tomato sauce. So that was a big surprise. Italy did a great job, knocked it out of the park. China, almost all 4 items in China were great. So those are 2 big surprises for me. Also, the American Adventure stepped it up this year. They just had a sliced turkey with some mashed potatoes and stuffing, which was good, and a traditional ham and sweet potatoes, and they did a great job too.
So to me, Italy looked like, because I'm not a huge foodie, but I don't trust me, I like to eat. Italy, when you put those pictures, it almost looked like macaroni and cheese. I mean, to me, I'm not fancy. It was like macaroni and cheese. It was like a grilled cheese. I mean, it looked like it was something that everybody would like. So I think that people will be knocking down the doors for that because it looks like something that most people are familiar with. And it's something that's almost like a comfort food.
It was like a grilled cheese sandwich with tomato sauce or tomato soup and macaroni and cheese. How can you go wrong there? They dialed it up a little bit, but it was exactly what it was. Comfort food 101, and they landed.
But is that surprising?
Good for Italy.
Yeah. It seems like they would go for something a little fancier, but I mean, it did look fancy in the presentation, but it's still kind of comfort food. Yeah.
Japan did a good job. They only had one savory item. They did some soba noodles, and it was probably my favorite dish of the entire festival. Just a nice bowl with some very, very rich dashi broth and some noodles, a little chicken and spinach. Japan always does a good job.
So they do a good job for everything. I've not been disappointed with Japan at all. So
they had a green tea Yule log that I didn't get a chance to try, but it looked kind of cute. Maybe try that next time.
So now, what did you get at China? Like, what are the things you can get over there? Because is it just typical Chinese food, or is there a spin on it, or what do you have?
In this case, they had a little bit of both. They had a spicy chicken, just a stir fry with some white rice, which was one of my top 5 also, nice and spicy. They did a traditional, you've seen like the red sweet spare ribs you get at a Chinese American restaurant. They did a little riff on that. They did some sliced pork and a sweet red sauce with some rice, and that was good. The one thing they did check out a little bit and tried a little upgrade was a Mongolian beef bao bun. The bao bun is that white fluffy bun they do every time, and this time they stuffed it with some sliced beef and onions, and they did a great job on that one. And some egg rolls, they were fine. Pork and vegetable egg rolls, typical. But if you want an egg roll, they were good.
You got to have that. So let me ask you this as we kind of get around to these other kitchens. How were the prices, in your opinion, in portion sizes?
Prices were great. Portions were great. There was only a couple that I felt a little cheated on. Germany did a cheese fondue in a big bread bowl, and there was just not much there. A couple pieces of bread, a couple pieces of vegetables, and it was like $8, and I was a little offended by that. But everything else was $5.25 to $5.75 range. I 11 to $15 on every kitchen. I think it was value wise, it was right on point.
Now, don't you use one of those cards or something that you put on your wrist? Or I saw you, like you said, you charged something up for the festival that I know that Epcot's been famous for during the festival seasons.
I didn't check that for this festival. I'd use that for a flower and garden. They have a special card, and sometimes, and I wasn't there long enough to look this time, but sometimes they'll offer a deal like for if you load a card with $250, they get a special card and then a special gift like a lanyard with a Mickey medallion on it or something like that, or a collectible coin or something, in addition to your card. But the $250 can be spent anywhere, so you're going to spend $250 for the week no matter what. So if you're looking for a little souvenir, it's kind of a nice touch.
It's a good tip. Good tip. Because you're right. I mean, you can use it.
I have a hotel room, so I couldn't charge to my Magic Band.
Yeah, that's not bad. So let me ask you this too, as we kind of hop in and out of the food, because I want to kind of cover stuff for everybody. What'd you think of the decorations of Epcot? How did Epcot look for the holidays being there, even before Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving? What'd you think?
Always nice. A lot of Chippendale theme for the party, because they had the Chippendale hunt, so that was fun. Their tree is my favorite, I think. I love where it sits. It's got a great background with the lagoon on one side, or the spaceship Earth on the other. So yeah, I love that. I think that's, other than Main Street. You can't beat Main Street. I think Epcot's probably my favorite as far as decorations go.
And I know you said you're going to go back and take one for the team and do the desserts later in December. Sorry, you have to do that. I apologize.
Yeah, that's terrible thing to do. Yeah.
Tough stuff. So you didn't get to do this, but one of the things I've been seeing a lot on social media is this cookie trail, the thing like that with all these cookies. So I know you didn't do that, but what did you see when it came to that experience for guests?
No, it's really cute. We saw them all, and they didn't get a chance to sample any of them. There's 6 of them, and they're dotted throughout. There's 11 kitchens in the only country that, well, anyway, they're around the World Showcase, and about every other one has a cookie, and it's marked on the menu. It's real obvious. And I think they're only $2 a piece, and they were really nice sized cookies, and they're all decorated nicely. There's also a place in your passport that you can get at any store that they will actually physically stamp for you this year, which they used to do for all the items at the festivals. They don't do that anymore. So that's kind of a nice touch.
So Ricky, what do you think of things like this cookie trail? Because I think that's something that is a family that would be really cool. Like when I see these kitchens and I would like to go around and snack and, make a meal out of it by going place to place to place. But I love the idea. I mean, Christmas to me, the holiday season is cookies because we made them with
true.
And, that a lot of people have that connection. And this gives you an opportunity to kind of, it's like the Easter egg thing, but it's edible. I mean, thoughts on the cookies, the cookie trail?
Yeah, I mean, Christmas cookies are, the thing. I mean, we made them here. So for, right now we have Christmas cookies. So, I think that it definitely takes something that people do for the holidays and it makes it kind of unique and has a unique spin on it, because I think with the cookie trail, you have to eat 6 cookies and then you can get, I think you have to purchase the completer cookie, which is another special cookie that you can get, but you can't get the completer cookie until you purchase the other 6 cookies and eat them. So yeah, so just know that. But I think it's a really unique way to do things and a unique way to try some different cookies as well. They're not just like traditional chocolate chip cookies or whatever. There's some different options in the mix. And I think since you said almost all the booths have a cookie, so if there was a cookie that you're just like, yeah, that doesn't sound like something that I want to try, you're not out because you don't not get to complete the cookie trail. Then you can go to one of the other booths and find a different cookie that may interest you a little bit better. So I think that's kind of nice, and it really is something about the holidays to have your Christmas cookies. I think it's a really creative idea for sure.
Really cute. The only drawback with it, and I noticed it right off the bat, was you have to wait in the same line as everybody else. And I heard some people talking about it when I first got there. The American Adventure was about where we started, and the line was it spilled all the way out to the amphitheater almost, but it moved pretty quick.
Wow.
But somebody said, I'm not going to wait in this line for a cookie. And I thought, well, you can get other stuff, but it's all combined in the same line. So you have to keep that in mind a little bit.
Interesting. That's good to know.
It sounds like, that'd be something easy to kind of have like a little offshoot secondary line just for the cookies. Right. There's no preparation. You just swipe something, here's the cookie, and move on.
All day long.
Right.
I'll probably go to that. These at festivals, one thing they do is they evolve, because I'll post pictures on day one and I'll go back a week later and follow somebody else and the pictures will be completely different. So they learn from their mistakes, and I guarantee they'll end up doing that because people are not going to wait in a 15-minute line for a cookie. They can just grab and go, and they'll sell more cookies that way.
Right.
So win-win.
That's true. Are the cookies packaged, or are they like loose cookies?
Just on a plate, yeah.
Okay.
But they're all prepared, obviously, so they could sell a lot more, and it's a win for everybody.
As you guys might know, if you follow me on social media, I am trying so hard to get down to Walt Disney World during the holiday season this year with Mallory, because we're homeschooling. And so I'm trying to just go down for like 3 or 4 days, go to a Christmas party, go to Epcot and come home. But she's in this competitive cheerleading where they practice on Wednesdays and Sundays. And it's like, they're not allowed to miss a practice. It's mandatory. Why couldn't it be like Mondays and Tuesdays where we have a big old window after Tuesday? Nope. So I'm trying to make it work. She's got all these competitions certain days. Oh, it's killing me. And this cookie thing is they made this for me. I need to complete her cookie, man. That is my thing.
That's right.
I didn't hear about the completer cookie. That's cool.
Oh God, I gotta.
Yes.
Is there any idea what this is? It like a special cookie? I mean, is it like bigger?
It's a special cookie. No, I think it's Mickey Mouse. I think it's a Mickey Mouse cookie. Yeah.
Oh yes, this is the kind of stuff, because I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love the music. I love the lights. I love the food. The cookies are just putting me over the top. That's one of the reasons I like going to the Christmas party over at the Magic Kingdom. Anyway, let's get back to Epcot. So, Todd, walk us through some of the other kitchens. What can we get going to some of these other kitchens during the festival?
Well, there's a new kitchen this year. It's between France and Morocco. It's called L'Chaim. It's it celebrates Hanukkah, traditional Jewish food. They had a really nice little pastrami on rye, 3 bites, or maybe 4 bites, little small sandwich, house-made pickle, very well done, one of my top 5. We also did a potato knish. Knish is a pastry that's filled with mashed potatoes and a little dill cream sauce, and that was very filling, very inexpensive, and well done. And maybe my favorite, they did a matzo ball soup. I don't know if you are familiar with that. It's like a chicken soup that's got a matzo ball is like a cracker meal, kind of like a big dumpling. It's kind of like chicken and dumplings, only the Jewish version, and that was outstanding. They did that whole booth was brand new, and they did an excellent job.
Let me ask you about that
Sounds
because we're up to Shine Golds. We stay there. We go to Indianapolis, and we love it. They're such great hosts. And one of the things they had for breakfast, I think it was the past couple of years, was these. I think, and again, I don't get out much, and I don't have a lot of ethnic foods. It was like a kolache. It was kind of like a
kolache. That's what are those the little buns with stuff like barbecue inside or whatever?
Yeah, but it was like eggs because it was breakfast.
Yeah,
so it was like ham and stuff inside this thing. It is one of the greatest things I've ever eaten in my life. Do they have those during the festival? Because then I'm just leaving Mallory behind. She's staying here by herself for 3 days.
We have them here. There's a kolache factory here in town.
Yeah, there's actually one out on Manchester Road, which I got to get out.
Those are great. I mean, you can't beat that, and you can fill them with anything, desserts, anything.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine having a dessert.
You just blew his mind, Todd. Just blew his mind.
Like they had a bunch of them in the kitchen when we were all, because there's a bunch of us staying at their house. But I didn't want to be like a pig and eat a bunch of them. But I could have eaten that whole box. I just tore them. It was so good.
Did they make them or bring them in?
They got them from a bakery. I think they were so good. They didn't make them.
Yeah, I love them. You can't beat that. Anything wrapped in dough and fried or baked, anything.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Because it's almost like like when you're a kid and you go to that chicken with the the egg pops out and you get a little prize in the middle. But I mean, you get to eat the egg. The prize is like the ham or like some kind of egg or something. It was so good. Anyway, I'm drooling. So walk us
distracting.
I'm just so rough. Because we're recording this before Thanksgiving when I'm just starving. But
yes.
And I still haven't eaten from when I got back from Disney. So
correct. Yes.
I love this
stuff.
stuff.
It's interesting on this.
So walk us through some of the other kitchens, Todd. What else should we not miss?
Mexico was nice. They had a chicken enchilada with a red mole sauce, which would be right up Mike's alley.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
They did a
100%.
shrimp tamale, which I don't think I've ever had a shrimp tamale, but very good masa, tender shrimp, and they did a dark mole, which is a kind of a bitter and sweet savory chocolate sauce, and that was pretty nicely done. Mexico did a good job this year. Can I say something? CJ, who's in the chat right now, she met me down there and helped me through through all of the World Showcase. So I just want to say hi and thanks for your help.
Oh, that's so good. So she helped you eat is basically what you're saying.
She got to eat, but she helped me schlep stuff and ran and got food, and it was nice of her. So I want to say thanks to her. I couldn't have done it.
That's awesome.
So here's $1 million question. I'm sure everybody listening wants to know. Did you, and if you did, how many times did you have to dine on top of a trash can?
Oh, every single. Let me say 11 times exactly.
Oh my gosh. I'm guessing there were tables, just probably not enough, right?
You know what? That's funny you said that because I mentioned that there for the last festival, Food and Wine. They did a great job with tables this year. They really stepped it up and put a bunch more out there. There were none for this festival, none. And
really.
I think they're gonna have to adjust.
They couldn't leave them out there from the last festival. It's not like it was that much time that passed.
Right? That's not the same thing. But anyway, a lot of trash cans. It was funny because we get 6 or 7 plates on those 2 double stacked trash cans, and we'd be doing our pictures and backing them. And people were waiting to throw their stuff away. They're like, "Excuse me,
goodness,
throw this away." I'm like, "I'm sorry, we've got work to do."
Sorry, here you go. Yep.
The funny thing is, you got to check out Chef Todd's Twitter or Instagram because. These things look like they're senior pictures, like the enchiladas are like working it. I mean, they're like perfectly lit. You would never know those come from the top of a trash can, Todd. You totally had me fooled.
I added a little bit. I cooked some of them, but yeah, there's senior pictures without the bad hairdos, right?
Exactly. You got it. See, it's my senior pictures just with food instead of my face. So
Ricky does senior pictures every other weekend. So
that's right here in Atlanta. Yes.
That's it.
One day I'll break out my senior picture. I have a huge afro, believe it or not, and it's black and white.
Oh my gosh.
So
awesome.
I'm old and I had hair.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to bust mine out too sometime. They're pretty crazy. All right, so I know I had a baseball jersey in one of them. So let me think. So walk us through any of the other kitchens, because we just want to get to as much as we can, just so anybody that goes down, they have the knowledge prepared to get the most out of the festival.
Sure. Germany had a kitchen, Bavarian kitchen. They did a potato dumpling, kind of about the same size as the matzo ball. It was awesome. We served it with a ton of wild mushrooms and a brown sauce, and that was a top handful as well. I did a sauerbraten, which is a marinated beef and braised, and it was good. It was pretty, tasted okay, a little dried out, but I would give it another shot. And the cheese fondue, which I mentioned earlier, I probably wouldn't do that again. It was $8.25, and it was just bread and cheese. It was kind of a ripoff.
That's expensive for fondue. I don't know what Disney thinks. I feel like they always have a really expensive like fondue option. It's like, you do know it's just melted cheese and some bread, right? And maybe some vegetables. And
that was the one. Like, it was a good shareable if it was $4.25 or $5.50.
Yeah,
but it was twice as much as the beef dish. I didn't get the pricing on that one at all.
That's insane.
Morocco had a couple good dishes. They had a kefta, which is like a ground lamb skewer that was served in a pita. I thought that was delicious and shareable, and that was $5, and you could probably have 3 people eat that. So the pricing was generally good, good values.
Yeah,
I can't say very many negative things. There was maybe 2 or 3 dishes that I didn't like at all, and that was just because of maybe preparation, not necessarily because of flavor. Sometimes you lose a little in the translation when you're trying to serve 1,000 people instead of 10 people. So I think they'll work all that out. But I thought overall they did a great job.
Now, how did you? Because I actually went to the festival last year. So one of the booths that I really enjoyed was the one from Canada. I think it's the Yukon booth. So what did you think of that booth this year? Does it stack up?
Which I really like. Very nicely cooked salmon, nice and clean. An apple chutney. I hate to be the guy dicing those apples. They were diced like the 1/4-inch dice. Some guy had to be dicing apples since Food and Wine. Crazy, but they did a good job on it. And they had a little meat pie with the homemade ketchup. I didn't like that a whole lot. Ketchup was good, but the meat pie was just kind of weird. But Canada's always stellar. They're basically first stop because they're right there, so they're always busy. So I think they always do a good job for the festival. Definitely.
So let me ask you this, Todd, because if I go to a festival, I go one time, maybe for a race weekend or something. If it's Food and Wine or what have you, Star Wars, I'll be down there during Flower and Garden. Do the prices ever change throughout the festival? Like you said, the one thing's not a good value. The one thing is kind of maybe it's a great buy, and Disney might see that and try to correct that, or do they stay solid for the entire festival and they just change prices next year?
That's a good question. I would doubt that they do because of all the printed materials. I would doubt that they do. I know they pay attention for next year. I guarantee they do that.
That they do. So I can say with almost certainty that they don't usually change the pricing throughout the festival. However, during the Epcot Food and Wine Festival this past year, I did hear that they changed some of the pricing. It was it was when they all the pricing increased for everything. So, you had the Mickey bars go up in price and the sodas go up in price. I believe that I heard that they changed the pricing just for that festival at that time. But other than that, I've never heard them changing pricing for the festivals. Once they have it set, it's usually a set for the festival, and you don't have to worry about the pricing changing mid-festival. So it's not going to go up or down, but it's going to stay, and then it'll go up next year. Next year when they're ready for it to come back again.
And one thing that in here's the passport, by the way. There's never prices in the passport, so I think that keeps a little fluid that way. If they print 1 billion of these and they're everywhere, it would be a nightmare to change a price on that. So I think that's kind of why they do that, but I don't know for sure of anybody. I haven't heard anyway of any prices changing.
That's good. Yeah, it makes sense.
That was kind of unusual.
Yeah, and I mean, once you get the signage made, you don't want to mess with it, because
right.
I'm sure they would make their money back 10 times, but it is kind of a pain in the butt to have to do that.
Right. By the time you add a quarter to something, you got to change all the menus. It's you got to figure out what you want to do, and then you worry about making somebody upset. You're better off just making it up next year, and people will still pay it.
So you were there at the beginning of the festival. Now, you felt, though, that the cast members and the folks that are preparing the food and serving the food in these kitchens, they were on their game, even because you were there, right at the beginning. And sometimes it takes a little bit of a learning curve. But I guess, it's probably the same people serving the food at Food and Wine, Flower and Garden. I mean, it's not because it's a new festival, it's a new crew. I mean, it's just different food probably, right?
That's a great question. This is probably the best it's ever been on open. I try to go to every opening day of every festival. I try. I don't always get there. This was the most well-oiled opening day of any festival I've been to. I told you that I was lined up almost. I wasn't quite out to the amphitheater in American, but I was way outside of the actual pavilion, and the line took maybe 10, 12 minutes, moved very quickly. All the lines typically that I would just walk on by and say, see you later. I stayed in because I wanted to try everything, and the lines moved. They did a great job of expediting, and they were well trained. And I think maybe the extra hour helped, truthfully, because they didn't have to start so early. And I think they had a little extra hour to get ready, and I had no issues waiting in line. And presentations were quality. They weren't crazy like they do for Festival of the Arts, where they try to do some architecture and stand some things up, and that makes things difficult. But this went smoothly. Very.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I want to make sure we get these things in. So let me ask you for kids, if you had to guess which of these 11 kitchens would be the best. Now, your daughter's very adventurous, but I mean, the typical kid, you want to take them and you want to have kind of a safe bet, a safe landing out of the 11 kitchens. Where are you going?
Well, there's some there's some in quotes kid friendly items on the passport. The Disney kind of did the math for us there, but the Italy cavatappi with white. Yeah, it's basically mac and cheese. You could probably ask them to leave that truffle breadcrumbs off the top. It'd be no problem. If they like Thanksgiving, the American Adventure had the, sliced turkey and mashed potatoes and ham and sweet potatoes. And that's as down the middle of the road as you can get. Let's see here. The knish from L'Chaim was just mashed potatoes and a pastry. You could get the sauce off of that one. There's plenty there.
So let me ask this too,
right? Just stuff them with cookies. Take one for the team.
There you go. Exactly. Yes.
The thing is that the kid ones are the ones that I'm the most excited about. So there you go. I mean, yes, that's where I was going to go. Yes. American Adventure, Italy. Yes. Okay, we're good. And cookies. Boom.
Yes.
A huge, tall kid. So let me ask you this too. If you had to miss, okay, so you went to all these kitchens. You said for the most part they were well done, and you had stuff that you liked almost everywhere. If you had to just leave one out, which is the one that you would leave out if you had to leave, drop one?
I hate to repeat it, but I got to say the fondue in Germany. The egg rolls in China were serviceable, but you can get those at China King, in your neighborhood.
Right.
I would probably skip those just because just the money and the stomach space of nothing else. There were nothing to write home about. Let me think of one more here. That's not the meat pie in Canada was just okay. But I was pretty impressed overall. Really, really well, real impressed top to bottom.
Okay, so last question for this one, and we'll let everybody go because I know it's a busy weekend. Everybody's spending time with friends. I know everybody.
Oh wait, no, I'm full. What am I talking about? Yeah.
It's the second or third round of leftovers by now. So let me ask you, Todd. So I think a lot of folks go to the festivals, to Epcot, and you're in a quandary because Epcot's got great counter service options. It's got awesome table service restaurants when you're going around World Showcase. I mean, you got Garden Grill, you got, just other restaurants that you can enjoy. I was thinking of Coral Reef. Some people go there. I like it just for the ambiance. You just have lots of places to eat. But what's your strategy? I know you're only there for 4 hours this time, but I mean, taking the family around, you're on a vacation, but you want to, instead of sitting down at a meal, you want to go around and make the most of the festival and try lots of different things you can't get back home. So what would you offer our listeners in the way of, really making the festival dining your dining for the day? What would you do?
For the whole day, I would just take your time and tour the entire pavilion like you would anyway. Go inside Germany and see all the sights, and then maybe have a little food outside and make it an all-day affair. But if you wanted to try something that's already there, an existing restaurant, definitely hit the festivals first thing. Get there right when they open. Have lunch, try as many as you can, and maybe some of the larger festivals have to break it into a couple days. But there's enough to take. If you stroll around the World Showcase like people do when they first get there, there's plenty to eat. Every hour, every whatever, and tour inside more and take advantage of what's in the pavilion itself.
I think that's the biggest thing is that it's a mindset thing for me because I'm used to, and I think a lot of typical Americans, feedback there, that, we got to sit down for a big meal. And I think when you're down at Walt Disney World, you can do this every day of your trip, that you can snack your way around and still be full. I mean, I think I'd want to do this because if I have a gigantic meal for lunch and a gigantic meal for dinner, I'm not likely to want a Mickey bar in the afternoon. And I want to do that when I'm there. Or, like in this festival, all these awesome options that I'm not going to get back home. So is that kind of the strategy to kind of get out of your mind that you don't have to have, 3 squares a day? You might just want to snack your way around for the whole day.
Certainly. That's why I never do the dining plan. I don't want to be locked into a lunch and a dinner with a, appetizer, entree, dessert, twice a day. And then the hour of downtime after you eat where you can't even budge or move, so
Right.
Snacking and staying light and having 12 meals that day or whatever and staying on the go, you can get a lot more tasted and feel a lot better by yourself for sure.
Oh, true.
And we do our ADR. We do a table service almost every evening just because that's what we like to do. But as far as during the day, we almost never sit down and have lunch. We always stay fluid during the day and almost never breakfast for that matter.
So Ricky, as we close the show out, I mean, what has you excited for Festival of Holidays at Epcot? Looking at it from a distance, you blogged about it. You were there last year. What if you had to pick something that excites you for getting down there that would focus getting you over to Epcot? What is it?
Well, definitely the food booths. They are a huge draw. Obviously, they are always a huge draw. That's why Epcot continues to roll out these festivals. I mean, let's just be perfectly honest. They know the food booths are extremely popular, so they know that it's something that people are going to want to stop and eat at. So, and spend their money. But the holiday storytellers, I think, are something that is not talked about as much anymore now that they've started the festival. I feel like other things have kind of taken precedence, especially at the food booth. So make sure you do stop and enjoy some of the festivities that happen around with these storytellers. I stopped for a couple of them last year. And they're just fantastic. They're really entertaining to learn about the holiday festivities around the globe. So that's kind of interesting. And another thing that not a lot of people know is there's actually a gingerbread house that's in the American Adventure Pavilion, and it's the Capitol building. So I think that's kind of like one of those cool things that not a lot of people know about that exist. So make sure you explore the countries and really see, because you may find something that you didn't know was there that showcases how they celebrate the holidays. That I think that's kind of unique.
And I think that's it. Epcot's got during, a typical day in the summer, Epcot's got layers to it. But I think if you go, say, in the summertime, your focus is on attractions, and then you can supplement with maybe some music and some live entertainment. Where during this festival, I see it's like almost like an onion with its layers that you have a really focus on food during Festival of the Holidays, but you also have, like you said, the storytellers, lots of live entertainment. You got things like Candlelight Processional, music, the Christmas Story, and you have, the attractions are almost like the third level of what you want to do at Epcot.
Kind of, yeah.
That's what I would say for folks that are listening to the show. Now, if it's a first-time trip, obviously, you want to ride Soarin', Test Track, Frozen Ever After, stuff like that. But I think, this turns it into just, there's so much to do. You really couldn't do it all in it. Todd, you've been there. This is something you couldn't do in a day. This is something you got to do over a weekend, or, go back maybe 2 or 3 times over a week, right?
Especially for the holidays. If you're there for the holidays to absorb the holidays, take your time. I love Ricky's point about the storytellers. They're awesome. They're scheduled to where you can see a lot of them because they're kind of offset and pretty close to each other. We spend a lot of time watching them over and over, and that's really what the holidays are about. There's also the Chippendale scavenger hunt. There's always a scavenger hunt for the festival, and this one, the prizes are some cute little greeting cards, packs of greeting cards. I'm sorry, like holiday cards. And they're neat. We didn't get a chance to do that, obviously. We'll check that in December. But there's definitely, I like the layer reference, because you start with the food, then you go back in and get a little deeper into each country and learn about their Christmas traditions.
Cool.
Yeah,
all right. Well, Todd, hey, we appreciate you sitting in for Pam this week. I know she's down at Walt Disney World with Symphony of the Seas. So perfect expert for this show.
Thanks.
And we even had a request in the chat from Terry. We want you to come back and tell us about Festival of the Arts. So can we?
My wife will kill
January.
me. My wife will kill
your
me.
wife will kill you.
Flower Garden for sure, but if I sneak in in January, I might be in trouble. We'll see. That's my boss.
Well,
I mean her.
Let's see, I'm putting Chef Todd. I'm putting you in pencil here on the book here.
Yeah, pencil it in. Tell me a date.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for listening to today's show. We hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully it makes your trip down to Walt Disney World a little better this holiday season, especially if you're heading to Epcot. Again, huge shout out to Chef Todd. So check out his Instagram at Chef Todd 55, right? That's where we're looking.
Yes, sir.
All righty. So, all right. Well, don't forget today's show brought to you by the great folks over at the Magic for Less Travel. So as we move into 2019, great time. There's a few things happening down at Walt Disney World in 2019. few things you could explore even if you're the most veteran Walt Disney World traveler. So drop by the magicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote, put in some dates, resorts, and I promise you, if you put the Be Our Guest podcast, I'll be back in touch with you right away. We're going to plan a great vacation at the best price possible. And I promise to work very hard for you on this trip. It's going to be awesome. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. And don't forget, if you're doing your online shopping this weekend, please use our Amazon affiliate link. It really does help support the show. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Thanks again to everybody who continues to use that throughout the year. It's really going to help us this weekend. So again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at beourguestpod and at Be Our Guest Mike, and drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast, and check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, it's time to get out of here. Let's get back to your leftovers and have a great time with friends and family. Enjoy some football, enjoy some family time, relax, and enjoy the weekend. So for Chef Todd and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving one more time, and we'll see you real soon. Boom.
Hey,
Oh, I'm so freaking hungry right now.
I know he's killing me.
Almost there.
Oh, so hungry.
Oh man.
You're killing me, Todd.
I went to my favorite restaurant in MCO last night before I came home in Cask and Larder, and I didn't even eat anything.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was really surprised when I heard that that's the only location of Cask and Larder now, because they had a standalone location.
Did they?
And then they moved it to just the airport, I think. So,
Gosh,
which
man,
kind of
the place is
surprised
packed
me.
at all times. I mean, it's packed.
They
They have two locations.
So good. Yeah, it's so good.
My go-to at the airport is Chick-fil-A.
Of course it is. Yeah, I would expect nothing less from you, Mike. Yes.
What happens is I always get the large, so I get the large fries, and then they give you that Mondo soda. Then I get on the plane, I'm like, oh, dude, I should not have had that like 44-ounce Coke Zero. And I'm like, oh, dude, let's get 10,000 feet. Don't play. Let's go vertical.
I was dying last night too because we had a little turbulence and they kept the seatbelt sign on, and I was dying.
Oh.
I finally snuck in.
Oh, that's the worst. I've had to do that too. I'm like, I can't. I have to go. It's.
They yell at you a little bit, but they're not going to throw you off. I was sitting in bulkhead. As soon as the flight attendants got behind me with the chips, I bolted in behind them, and I could.
I couldn't. Nope.
You're like, you want me to risk my life to get up to that.
Yeah.
Trust me. You do. I promise. Because otherwise you have something else to clean up.
Yeah, it's going to be the next story on the internet, like Delta or whatever. Well, hey guys, thanks so much for doing this. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Enjoy.
Family, I said hello.
I will. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. See you guys. See you, Facebook.
Bye, guys.
See ya.